Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Vijay Gidituri, and in today's video I'll explain you how to build, tag and push Docker images to AWS ECR. So first let me explain you about what is AWS ECR. So here ECR stands for Elastic Container Registry, and it is a fully managed Docker container registry which is provided by AWS, and it allows you to store, manage and deploy Docker container images. So ECR integrates seamlessly with other AWS services like ECS, which is Elastic Container Services, and EKS, which is Elastic Kubernetes Services. So previously I created a blog on Medium on how to build, tag and push Docker images to AWS ECR. So here you can see this is the blog link, deploying Docker images to AWS ECR step-by-step guide. Okay. So by following this blog, you can automatically build Docker images, and you can tag the Docker images, and you can push the Docker images to AWS ECR. Okay. So let's implement this everything in practical. So let me open this AWS console and let me open this EC2 and instances. So previously I created an EC2 instance for our today's implementation. So let me show you that EC2 instance. Let's wait, it is loading. So here you can see this is the EC2 instance I created with Ubuntu AMI, guys. Okay, so I just connected it here. So now initially we need to configure with this AWS account by creating AWS IAM access keys and secret keys. Okay, so let me create it first and directly select here users and directly select your user and security credentials, and here we need to create an AWS IAM access keys and secret keys. Okay, so directly select here create access keys and CLI and confirm this and select next and directly select create access keys. So now this is the access key and this is the secret access key. Copy this access key and come here and directly hit AWS configure and paste that access key, hit enter, and now copy this secret access key, paste it here, hit enter, and here currently we are going to perform this everything in US East 1 region, right? So here you need to provide region as US East 1. Okay, hit enter and enter. Now let me hit AWS S3 LS. So here you can see it is listing all our AWS S3 buckets. Okay, so currently it is configured with our AWS account. So now let me clear the screen. So initially you need to install Docker and you need to install AWS CLI in this Ubuntu VM, guys. Okay, so I installed Docker. Let me hit Docker version. So here you can see this is the Docker version and AWS hyphen version. Let's wait, it got stuck. So here you can see this is the AWS CLI version. Now let me clear this screen. So currently I don't have a single Docker images. So here you can see this is the Docker image, Ubuntu Docker image. So now let's build a Docker image. So let me open this repository and let me copy this repository URL and let me clone this git clone and repository URL here, and let me redirect into that repository which is video repo, and let me cat docker file. So here you can see using this Docker file we are going to build Docker image. So here you can see base image we are going to take as Ubuntu, and we are going to update this, and we are going to install Apache 2, and we are going to change this Apache 2. By default Apache 2 will run on the port of 80, but we are going to change this to port 4000 on port.config file. Okay, and we are going to copy this index.html file. So here you can see this is the file. We are going to copy this index.html file to where www.html. So this is the default path of Apache 2, and we are going to expose container on port 4000, guys. Okay, so now using this Docker file we are going to build Docker image. So now the command is docker build -t. Let me give the image name like first image colon latest and dot. Okay, so this is the command to build Docker image, and here you can see docker build -t stands for tag, and this is the name of the Docker image, first image, and this is the tag name latest, and dot stands for Docker file, guys. So currently in this path only we have Docker file, right? So that's why here I've selected dot. So if your Docker file is in some different paths, you need to provide that path here. Okay, directly hit enter. So now it will build a Docker image. So here you can see successfully it is built at Docker images. So let me hit Docker images. So here you can see our Docker image has been built successfully with latest tag. So now we need to tag this Docker image and we need to push this Docker image to AWS ECR. So initially we need to create an ECR repository. So directly jump onto AWS Management Console. So open ECR in a new tab, and here let me select here repositories. So here you can see currently we don't have a single repository. So if you want to create ECR repository, you can directly create from here. Directly select here create repo, and here let me provide the name like demo repo, and image tag mutable terms going to select mutable, and directly select here create. Okay, so now here you can see a repository has been created. So now if you want to create using CLI, directly come down and copy this command, guys. So directly copy this command and open this and clear the screen and paste it here. Okay, so here you can see AWS ECR create repository. So we are going to create a ECR repository using AWS CLI command and a hyphen repository, and this is the repository name. Okay, test repo. I'm going with this name, and here we need to provide region. So on which region you want to create this repository, it is asking. So I want to provide US East one. Okay, so let me show you that repository, sorry, region. So here you can see US East one. You need to select this and directly select OK and hit enter. Now here you can see it is successfully created. So this is the repository ARM. So let me check this in this console. Let me refresh this. So here you can see test repo has been created successfully. So this is how you can create. So let me delete this demo repo, delete and delete. Okay. So let's use this test repo. So now initially we need to build a Docker image. So successfully we built the Docker image, right? So here you can see we built a Docker image. So now we need to tag the Docker image. So before tagging the Docker image, we need to authenticate with our AWS ECR. Okay, so this is the command, or else if you want to see all these commands, you can directly open this repository test repo, and here directly select view push commands. Okay, so here you can see this is the command to authenticate with our AWS ECR. Directly copy this AWS ECR get login password hyphen region. So this is the region name, docker login hyphen username AWS hyphen password std in. Okay, so this is our account ID. So here you can see similarly 65700. Here you can see this is the account ID. Okay, so copy this and come here and paste it here and hit enter. So now it will log into our ECR. Let's wait. So here you can see you need to see this message login succeed. Okay, so now let me open this. So previously we built it our Docker image, right? So now we need to tag our Docker image. So this is the command to tag our Docker image. So let me copy this and let me open this terminal and let me hit here Docker images. So this is our Docker image, and now we need to tag our Docker image. So directly paste it here. Now here you need to modify your Docker image name. So currently our Docker image name is first image, right? So you need to provide that name here with your tag. Okay, so let me provide image name like first image img, and the tag is latest. Okay, so I'm going to provide the same, and here you can see this is our account ID. Okay, so let me show you that. Let me close this. So here you can see this is our account ID, and now here you can see dkr.ecr.useast1.amazon.aws.com. So if you want to see this URL, you can directly select here repositories. So this is our repository, right? So here you can see this is the URL it is taking. Okay, so using this URL only, you need to tag your Docker image. Okay, so let's come here. So let's leave this everything, and here you can see this is our repository name, which is test repo, and this is the tag value. Okay, so directly select enter. Now Docker images. So here you can see our image has been tagged successfully. So now we need to push this Docker image. So before pushing this Docker image, let me show you the repository. Go to this repository. So here you can see currently we don't have a single Docker image, right? So now let me put this Docker image. So directly copy this Docker push and copy paste that repository. That means paste this image name, tagged image, and with image tag. So image tag is latest. Okay, latest, hit enter. So here you can see currently it is trying to push this Docker image to AWS ECR. Okay, so this is how you can build Docker image, tag the Docker image, and you can push your Docker image to AWS ECR. So here you can see successfully it is pushed. So let me open this. Let me refresh this. So here you can see our image has been pushed successfully, and the size of this image is 100.3 MB. Okay, so now let me open this. Okay, so here you can see this is our image. So now let's go back and let me select this. So if you want to scan your Docker image, you can directly select here scan. So here you can see scan has been started. So it will display all the vulnerabilities and everything. So here you can see scanning and vulnerabilities. So currently critical is 0, high is 0, medium is 0, low is 0, and info is 0. So you can scan your Docker images also from this ECR repository, guys. Okay. So now let me select here test repo, and let me open this. Sorry, this is the image only, right? So we are inside of this test repo. So now let me clear the screen and Docker images. So in future, if you want to build second Docker image, and if you want to push the Docker image also, I will explain you that. Let me hit ls, and here let me modify this index.html file, or else let's build Docker image, no problem. Docker build -t, and image name is first image. And now instead of latest, I'm going to change this tag to v1. Okay, so this is version 1. Consider this like a version 1. So here you can see image has been built successfully. So now let me hit Docker images. So here you can see first image and tag is v1. So imagine this is a Docker image with different versions. That means you have modified your Docker files, and you have built your Docker image with different tags. So now if you want to push this Docker image, you need to tag this Docker image. So again, you can directly open this command docker tag. So this is the command. Okay, so instead of latest, you can directly modify to v1. Okay, so version 1. So modify this tag value and leave this everything by default. So instead of latest, here also modify to v1. Okay, so this is the tag value, guys. Okay, so here you can see v1. So now hit enter. Now hit Docker images. So here you can see our Docker image has been tagged. So now let me open this. So here you can see currently we have only single Docker image with latest image tag, right? So now let's push this v1 Docker image, like docker push, and copy this image name and paste it here. And here you need to provide tag value like v1. Okay, v1, hit enter. So now let me open this and let me refresh this. So here you can see v1. Okay, so this is how you can push. So if you are modifying your some of the index.html files, and you're trying to push the Docker image, means it will create a new layer, guys. Okay, so let me clear the screen and let me open this index.html file, and let me modify this file. uh, let me modify this file. I'm going to modify this sample message, guys. Okay, just I'm going to remove this. Okay, now I'm going to save this. Now Docker images. So currently we have only this Docker images, right? So now I'm going to build another Docker image, Docker build, and which is first image colon, this is v2 version, and dot refers to Docker file. So now it will build the Docker image. Sorry, we have missed here -t. Okay, -t. So here you can see image has been built successfully. So now here Docker images. Let's wait, it got stuck. So here you can see v2. Okay, so now let's tag this Docker image. This is the command. Okay, so instead of v1, directly modify to v2, first image, and tag value is v2, and here also tag value is v2 and hit enter. Now docker images, docker push, and copy this tag image name, copy this and paste it here and tag value as v2, hit enter. Okay, so now let me open this and let me refresh this. So here you can see it is created on a new layer. So when you are modifying your any of the files and if you are trying to push the docker images, it will create in a new layer. Okay, so if you are pushing that existing images means it will create in the same layer because it doesn't find any of the changes, so that's why it is pushing that all the images in the single layer. So if you are modifying your docker files or else if you are modifying your code base, it will create a new layer inside this repository, guys. Okay, so and yes, that's it for today's video. So now if you want to delete this repository, you can directly select this repos and directly select this and you can directly select here delete and delete. Okay, so this is how you can build your docker images and you can tag the docker images and you can push your docker images to AWS ECR. Okay, so and yes, that's it for today's video. And if you like my video, please do like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys, and see you in the next video, and bye.